Have you ever looked up at the sky, tears clouding your vision, and asked, "Why me? Why is it always you who struggles? Why does it feel like everyone else has it easier? You pray, you fast, you try your best. And yet, the trials keep coming. Let me tell you something that might shake you, that pain you're carrying, that confusion you feel, that test you're going through. It's not a punishment, it's a gift. Have you ever felt like your world is falling apart, piece by painful piece, and you wonder if God has turned his face away from you? The weight of your struggles presses against your chest like a mountain, and you're left asking, "What did I do wrong?" But maybe, just maybe, you've got it all backwards. You see, we often think love is soft and gentle, full of ease and comfort, but real love, the kind that's deep, intentional, transformative, doesn't always look like that. Sometimes real love looks like a storm, and sometimes being tested is the loudest way heaven whispers, "I love you." Allah doesn't test just anyone, he chooses, he selects. He picks the hearts that can carry difficulty, not because he wants to crush them, but because he wants to raise them. We often equate blessings with happiness, with things going smoothly, but Allah's version of a gift doesn't always come wrapped in what we want. Sometimes it's wrapped in delay, in heartbreak, in silence, in loss, and when that wrapping is finally torn open, you find that what's inside is far more valuable than you ever imagined. It's not material. It's not even always visible, but it's real, and it's yours. When you are being tested, it is easy to feel invisible, like your pain is floating in the air and no one's catching it. But in those moments when your heart breaks, know this: Allah sees you. He knows, he's closer than your thoughts, and he's responding in ways your eyes may not see, but your soul can feel. It's in the stillness of the night when you cry on the prayer mat and your tears fall, not just to the floor, but straight into the hands of your Creator. That is not abandonment, that is love. Intimate, divine, deliberate love. He knows your potential. He knows what's buried deep inside you that you've forgotten or never discovered. So he sends a trial, not to expose your weakness, but to awaken your strength. That strength you didn't think you had, that perseverance you didn't know lived within you, it comes alive in hardship, and not because you're enough on your own, but because he is enough for you. That's why he tests you. Because he wants you to meet yourself in the middle of the storm and say, "I didn't know I could survive that, but I did." It's not a sign of rejection, it's a sign of trust. When Allah tests you, he is trusting you with a path that leads to something greater. You are not less loved because you are suffering. In fact, your suffering may be the most powerful proof that you are loved beyond measure. It doesn't feel like it when you're in it, when your body is tired and your heart is heavy and the nights feel endless. But when Allah wants to bring you closer, he doesn't always give you what you want. He gives you what you need. It's easy to feel like you're drowning when life gets hard, like the floor beneath you has given way, and you're just trying to keep your head above water. You wonder why the pain keeps coming, why the prayers don't seem to make it stop, why the heaviness in your chest won't go away, and in those moments you might feel weak, you might feel broken, but what you don't realize is that you are being built, reshaped, strengthened, not in the way the world defines strength, but in the way the soul recognizes it. You are in the gym of the soul, and every hardship is a weight you are learning to lift. The strongest people are not those who have had it easy. They are the ones who have cried and still stood up to pray. The ones who have lost and still whispered Alhamdulillah The ones who didn't get what they asked for, but still trusted that Allah knows what they don't. Struggle isn't the enemy. Struggle is the birthplace of transformation. Think about it. When does your faith feel the most alive? It's not when you're coasting through life. It's when you're on your knees, when the world goes quiet, when the only one you can talk to is Allah. That's when you realize how much you need him. That's when the connection deepens. Ease rarely teaches us what hardship does. Ease gives us rest, but struggle gives us depth. And sometimes Allah wants to pull something out of you that you didn't even know was there. patience you never practiced before, resilience you didn't think you had, a closeness to him you never imagined was possible. It's not about being perfect. It's not about always having the right words or the strongest iman. It's about showing up anyway, with your pain, with your fear, with your questions, with your brokenness, and believing even a little that he sees you. The Prophet went through more trials than any of us could imagine. Loss, rejection, persecution, and still his faith never wavered. That wasn't a coincidence. It was a blueprint, a sign that the path to greatness isn't lined with ease, it's lined with sacrifice, with tears, with long nights and aching hearts, and it's in those very moments that your spiritual muscles grow. You don't see it yet, but you're becoming someone stronger, someone wiser, someone closer to your Lord. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when life stretches you, when it challenges your habits, your mindset, your faith. It forces you to lean into prayer, not out of routine, but out of desperation. And in doing so, it purifies you, it softens your heart, it clears out the noise so you can finally hear what really matters. That pain you're feeling, that isn't weakness. It's the sign of something sacred being built within you. Something that can only be formed in fire. There's something incredibly painful about going through hardship and not knowing why. When your world is falling apart and nothing makes sense, it's natural to ask, what's the purpose of all this? You look at other people and it seems like their lives are flowing effortlessly while you're stuck, struggling, trying to breathe through the weight of your test. You try to stay strong, but deep down, there's this question echoing in your heart. Is there any meaning behind all this pain? And the answer is yes. Even if you can't see it yet, there is purpose behind every single thing that happens to you, not just the joyful moments, but the painful ones too. Sometimes we expect the purpose to show itself immediately. We want the story to make sense now. We want the dots to connect in real time, but Allah doesn't always reveal his wisdom in the middle of the test. Sometimes he hides it until you've walked far enough to look back and see how perfectly everything was arranged. The delay in your plans, the person who left, the opportunity that vanished, the sickness, the heartbreak, the closed doors, they didn't happen to hurt you, they happened to move you, to shift you onto a path you would have never chosen on your own. You might think it was random, you might think it was unfair, but nothing in your life is without divine design. We often confuse pain with punishment, but sometimes pain is just the language of redirection. It's Allah guiding you to something better, even if it doesn't feel like it at first. You were never created to have complete understanding. You were created to have complete trust, and that trust is what transforms your suffering into strength. You don't need all the answers right now. What you need is the faith that this chapter, no matter how dark, is leading to something that will one day make you say, "Now I see why." It's like pieces of a puzzle. Up close, they don't make sense. Some are dark, some are jagged, some don't seem to fit. But step back, look at the full picture, and you realize every piece had a place, every moment had meaning, even the ones that broke you. Especially the ones that broke you, because those are the moments that brought you closer to him, that stripped away your ego, your illusions of control, your dependence on people, and reminded you who's really in charge. Who's really taking care of you, who's always been writing your story with more wisdom and love than you could ever comprehend. And even if you never get the full explanation in this life, your test is still worth it. Not because it feels good, but because it's doing something good. It's shifting your soul. It's clearing your path. It's protecting you from what you thought you wanted and guiding you toward what your soul truly needs. Gratitude in the middle of hardship feels unnatural. It feels like you're being asked to smile with a broken heart, to give thanks while you're drowning in silence, to say Alhamdulillah, when everything in your life seems to be falling apart. And yet, that's exactly where the power of gratitude lies, not in the comfort, but in the chaos. Anyone can be grateful when life is easy, when things are going your way, when the du'as are being answered in the way you hoped. But the real test, the real transformation, comes when you still say asterisk, thank you asterisk, even as tears stream down your face, when you still raise your hands in prayer, not because everything is perfect, but because you know the one who controls it all is still with you. There's something sacred about being able to whisper gratitude when your heart is aching. It's not just about saying the words, it's about a posture of the soul, a quiet surrender. And knowing deep inside that even though this pain wasn't what you asked for, it's still part of a plan far greater than what you can see. Gratitude in hardship is not denial. It's not pretending that everything is fine. It's acknowledging the pain and still choosing to trust. It's looking at your life, as messy and uncertain as it may be, and still recognizing the signs of mercy woven between the cracks, because even in your hardship there are blessings. The way your heart turns back to Allah, the depth your du'as suddenly take on, the night prayers that feel more raw, more honest, the realization that people can't carry your pain, and so you stop expecting them to. And in that moment, you remember the one who always can. There's barakah in that awareness, in that closeness, in that vulnerability that pulls you out of your distractions and back into divine alignment. Hardship doesn't just break you, it wakes you up, and it's in that awakening that the real gifts come. The barakah may not be in a new job or in a healed relationship. It might be in the stillness of your heart in sujud, in the peace you feel when you finally let go of needing to control everything, in the kind of strength that doesn't shout, but whispers, I trust you, Ya Allah. And when you start seeing the test as a place where gratitude can live, not just survive, but actually take root, that's when you start to feel a shift from why me to try me, a shift from I'm being punished to I'm being protected. Because there is always something you're being given, even in the moments when it feels like everything is being taken. Gratitude in hardship is a light that darkness cannot touch. It becomes your anchor. Your quiet rebellion against despair. It tells your heart that even if life doesn't go the way you planned, you still have something greater. Faith, presence, connection. It reminds you that barakah isn't about quantity, it's about meaning. About depth, about recognizing the divine fingerprints on even your darkest days. There's a kind of loneliness that hits differently when you're going through something heavy. It's not just the absence of people, it's the silence when you need answers, the emptiness when you need comfort, the feeling that no one really sees what's happening inside you. You could be surrounded by people and still feel invisible. Still feel like you're carrying a weight that no one else understands. And in that silence, in that space where it seems like no one notices your pain, something begins to whisper, you're alone. But that voice is lying. Because the one who matters most has never left your side, not for a second. We forget sometimes, in the rush of life, in the heaviness of trials, we forget that Allah is near, not near in some distant, symbolic way. Near in reality, near in presence, near in care. He knows the thoughts that keep you up at night. He sees the tears you wipe away before anyone can notice. He hears the du'as you don't even say out loud because you're too tired, too broken, too overwhelmed to find the words. There is no barrier between you and him, no filter, no need to explain. He already knows, he already understands, and that alone should change everything. When people don't check in, when the phone doesn't ring, when the messages stop coming, there's still someone who never stops watching over you. Allah is Al-Latif, the subtle, the most kind, the one who is working on your behalf in ways you can't see. The one who sends you ease through strange, quiet moments, a verse you stumble across that speaks directly to your pain, a sunset that calms your heart when you didn't even realize it needed calming. A delay that saves you from something you didn't know would harm you. He's always there, arranging what you need, even when it feels like nothing is happening. We tend to measure nearness by physical presence. But Allah's closeness isn't limited by space or time. It's a nearness that surrounds your soul, that fills the gaps no one else can fill. That gives you strength when you feel like falling apart. That brings peace in the middle of a storm, not because the storm is over, but because you're no longer facing it alone. And the beauty of this closeness is that you don't have to earn it with perfection. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't need eloquent does or flawless faith. You just need a sincere heart that turns to him, even with a whisper. Even when you feel like you're too far gone, too lost, too weak, he is still there. Waiting, listening, responding in his own perfect way, because he is our Amen, the most merciful, and his mercy doesn't abandon you just because you've made mistakes or doubted or fallen behind. His nearness isn't based on your strength. It's based on his love, and his love is not like the love of people. It doesn't disappear when things get hard. It surrounds you when things get hard. It carries you when you can't carry yourself. There's a kind of courage that gets built in silence. Not the loud, visible courage that the world claps for, but the kind that forms when no one sees you. When you're fighting battles behind closed doors, waking up every day trying to hold yourself together while everything inside you is falling apart. That kind of strength doesn't get headlines, it doesn't win awards, but it's the most powerful kind because it comes from deep inside, from a place where only you and Allah know what it took just to keep going. And in that struggle, whether you realize it or not, you're being prepared for something bigger than you can imagine. Allah never wastes a single moment of your pain, not one tear, not one prayer, not even the sighs you let out when you're too tired to cry. Every single thing you're going through is shaping you not just for this life, but for the one that truly matters. This world is not your destination, it's your training ground, it's where your soul is stretched, molded, refined. It's where you learn how to trust when there's no clarity, how to keep moving forward when everything feels uncertain, how to keep believing even when the evidence around you says to give up. That's not weakness. That's preparation. There are things Allah wants to give you, but first he needs to prepare your heart to receive them. And sometimes that preparation comes through delay, through loss, through disappointment. You may not understand it while you're in it. It might just feel like you're being broken down, but he's not breaking you, he's building you. Just like a sculptor chips away at the stone to reveal the art hidden beneath, your test is uncovering something beautiful inside you. A version of yourself you've never met, a strength you've never tapped into, a closeness to him you never thought was possible. You're not just being tested, you're being trained, and that training is sacred. It's setting you up to handle blessings without arrogance, to carry responsibilities with humility, to walk into the next chapter of your life with a heart that knows where to turn when things get hard. Because they will get hard, that's life, but what Allah is doing now is building a version of you that won't break so easily, that won't forget him when the storm passes, that won't trade your soul for temporary comfort. That's the gift inside the test, not just what you gain, but who you become. There's a reason you're going through what you're going through, a reason you didn't get what you asked for yet, a reason it feels delayed. That reason is tied to a timing that is better than yours, to a wisdom you may not see now but will one day look back on and say, Subhanallah, it all makes sense. You are not being held back, you are being made ready. So the next time life gets heavy and you whisper, why me? Remember this, because you are strong enough, because you are chosen, because Allah wants you to grow, not just go through it. Your test is a gift wrapped in pain, but sealed with love from your Creator. Unwrap it with sabr, carry it with faith, and walk forward, knowing that what's waiting for you is far more beautiful than anything you're leaving behind. This isn't the end, this is the beginning, and Allah is with you. Every single step of the way,